The great playwright is famous for his sparkling, upper-crust comedies. But 50 years on from his death, it's worth remembering how radical and scandalous he really was, writes Holly Williams. Article continues below. When you hear the words Noel Coward, they probably conjure a certain idea, an elegant, well-spoken English gentleman, in a dressing gown, waving a cigarette holder or a glass of champagne, dripping acerbic little one-liners. Maybe you know his songs from comic ditties like Mad Dogs and Englishman to songbook classics like Mad About the Boy. Or his plays, those witty, sparkling comedies still considered box office gold, like Private Lives, Hay Fever, and Blithe Spirit. More like this. The classic musical that's really about sex and death. Britain's most scandalous family. The Bohemians who shocked Victorian Britain. 2023 marks 50 years since Coward's death, but while his influence and popularity endures, is it possible that we misremembering the man who earned the nickname the Master? Could it be that the image of him that lives on is mere grinning caricature, and gets in the way of really understanding his work? Both a new biography and documentary film seem to think so, aiming to reveal the darkness, the complexity, and the radicalness of Coward as have two recent productions that leaned into the thornier aspects of his plays. Coward had a long and glittering career, which took him from 1920s London all the way to Las Vegas. Credit, Noel Coward Archive Trust. Coward had a long and glittering career, which took him from 1920s London all the way to Las Vegas. Credit, Noel Coward Archive Trust. Coward had a front row seat for much of the 20th century, both its traumas and its thrills. Born in 1899, he was young enough to be called up for World War I, and to not only be one of the bright young things the nickname given to the wild-living, press-friendly socialites who dazzled 1920s London but to write many of the defining shows about them. During World War II, he worked as a spy, as well as singing for the troops and making hugely popular war movies. When his work fell out of fashion in the UK, he was warmly embraced as a cabaret act in mid-century America, first on stage in Las Vegas and then on television. Finally, a series of starry revivals on both sides of the Atlantic canonized his plays in the 1960s, cementing his status as a national treasure. And he was insanely prolific, writing hundreds of songs, some 50 published plays and 40 more unpublished ones, points out Oliver Sodden, author of Masquerade, The Lives of Noel Coward. It was reading all the plays during lockdown that convinced the author that there was still much to discover in Coward's work. Obviously they are very funny, but what surprised me was how much more than just funny they are, he tells BBC Culture. Page after page of really surprisingly truthful things to say about sex and class and love and how to live. And a deep seam of bitterness and passion and cynicism. Sex, drugs, and violence. It is these darker aspects that have been brought to the fore in two recent British revivals. At London's Donmar Warehouse, Michael Longhurst's production of Private Lives, about tempestuous former lovers whose passion reignites when they happen to honeymoon with new spouses at the same hotel, didn't he shy away from the violence spoken and physical that's in the text. Admittedly, any good production will be alive to this, but the refusal to let the characters off the hook made it very bleak at times. Amanda and Elio emerged as damaged individuals who inflict real harm, rather than merely reckless romantics. Meanwhile The Vortex, Coward's breakthrough 1924 play, enjoyed a rarer revival at Chichester Festival Theatre. It concerns Florence, an aging beauty having an affair with a much younger man, who runs off with her son Nicky's fiancé. Copyright. The play features cocaine addiction, hints of homosexuality and much adultery. The writing can be startlingly raw, not a quality one usually associates with Coward, but something Daniel Raggett's production embraced, gradually stripping away the furniture and fripperies of a country house party until Florence and Nicky were tearing each other apart on an empty stage. It struck me as a missing step between the late 19th century tragedies of Ibsen, and Tennessee Williams' mid-century masterpieces.